You're fresh off a national championship, and Georgia and Georgia Tech have gone through a long history of playing one another in multiple centuries now. And it just occurred to me as we get into the spring of 2022 that that rivalry obviously is not what it used to be at all. And I wonder if Kirby Smart and Georgia have essentially killed Tech off for good. And the reason I bring the subject up is, in the last few games have just not even been competitive in any way. And you get that. You get that from time to time with Tech and Georgia, where the games are not competitive at all. But this time it does feel a little bit worse. I mean, Georgia Tech is flailing away in a weak conference in the ACC. Georgia has just won the national championship in football. The two are about as opposite as they could be. And I do wonder if things have changed in a way that the two will always play one another in sports. That's going to happen forever. But somewhere along the way, Georgia started winning in a way that Georgia Tech started, well, certainly did not, but in a way that Tech went backwards. And it started. A lot of people will tell you immediately it started when Tech decided to leave the SEC under Bobby Dodd after the 1963 season. But that's 50 years ago now, and Georgia Tech's been good since that time. Um, but in but this century specifically, um, it's really gone downhill. I think that started in the 80s, and from that point forward, from the time that Georgia won the national championship in 1980 until today, and that's going off my top of my head, I think Tech's won 8 games against Georgia. But more than that, and more problematic than that, they've just not mattered in any way. You can celebrate Georgia's national championship by purchasing DAWGSTRUCTION. The link to this book is down below the section on the Georgia Tech game. This is what I'm talking about. I wrote there's more pages dedicated to the Georgia Charleston Southern game. Well, no, that's not true because I have the second page of Georgia Tech. There's as many pages dedicated to the Charleston Southern game as there were the Georgia Tech game. And that's not good. That's not good for this rivalry. This is one of Georgia's big three rivalries. I mean, some people think it's the biggest one. I think for a long time that's been Florida. I don't know how you could stick. I do know. I mean, I think Auburn is a more important game. I'm not sure it's a bigger rivalry. There's more Auburn fans, but you know, just thinking about where we're at right now with these two schools, Georgia Tech has had two 10-win seasons this century. That's it. Georgia's had two 10-win seasons in the last 2 years. Um, so what's killed Tech off? Well, they've made a lot of bad decisions along the way. They didn't just arrive at this place, just the same way Georgia hasn't arrived at winning the national championship. When you take a look at Tech's run through things, there were a lot of bad coaching hires, but things settled down um, at least a little bit when Bill Curry got there, and then they were really kind of competitive with Georgia at that stage. They went from Bill Curry to Bobby Ross. Those were two good coaches for Georgia Tech. And then it went Bill Lewis got them off the rails. So twice what's happened to Georgia Tech is that a coach who's been successful, well, 3 times, a coach that's been successful in Bill Curry, Bobby Ross, and George O'Leary all left for different jobs. Bill Curry, I think, went to Alabama. Bobby Ross went to the Chargers, and George O'Leary, Notre Dame. When George O'Leary left Georgia Tech after the 2001 season, that is it for the modern Georgia Tech that we knew of and grew up with. That's over. It that that time when Georgia Tech could be competitive, that's that we haven't seen it since. I mean, when you look at Paul Johnson and what Paul did there, he's one of the most successful coaches at Georgia Tech in its history. And he beat Georgia twice. Excuse me, 3 times. That's it. I mean, he was there for 11 seasons or 10 seasons, whatever it is. It's just not success. Chan Gailey never beat him. Jeff Collins just is not a good coach. I mean, he's not the right fit for Georgia Tech. He's the right fit for Temple or Coastal Carolina or the Citadel or, something like that. But he's not the right coach for Georgia Tech. And the problem that you're getting into now is that what is the right what is the right fit for Georgia Tech? You've got an ACC that's as weak as we've seen in decades. I mean, Florida State doesn't matter. Miami doesn't matter. Virginia Tech doesn't matter. Clemson, which has been very relevant lately, just won the Cheez-It Bowl. So when Pittsburgh is winning the league you're in and you can't compete in any way, but compare and contrast. There is no comparison between Tech and Georgia. When you look at um, the last game in Atlanta, the last 2 times these teams have played, it's been in Atlanta. They've not played in Athens since 2019, I think it is. So you can't and when they do play, and when you're in Atlanta, there's nothing but Georgia fans there. Okay. On top of that, Tech hasn't beaten Georgia in Atlanta, but never in this century, and has only done so once in the last 30 years. Would you really want Georgia Tech to go away? Would you really want one of Georgia's great rivals to die? And the answer is no, but they're as close to death as I've seen in a long time. I have never seen it as bad as it was when I was in Atlanta this past November. It was pathetic. And I don't mean that in a making fun way. It was pathetic what I saw. And I don't know how you recover. I don't know how you recover from this. And if Kirby Smart goes on, Kirby Smart can 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 be nice about it, I guess. I can assure you that he hates Georgia Tech. Just that's what it is. And the worst thing that could have happened to Georgia Tech was winning against Georgia in 1998 in his final game in Sanford Stadium, and beating Kirby in their first game against Georgia in 2016. The mercy rule is going to get thrown out. The beatings Georgia has put on Tech in 17, 18, 19, and 21 have been vicious. The games are not competitive. And people will already now talk about if this game should be played, but they're being naive. It should certainly be played. I just wonder if Georgia Tech is ever going to recover from where they're at right now. And because I don't like doing sweeping generalizations, but I am extremely skeptical that they will matter in college football in the next just say 15 years. I don't know. I'm skeptical that that will happen. There's there's too much. Um, there have been too many mistakes that Tech has made as an organization. They are in a conference that has extremely limited television money, certainly limited compared to the surrounding folks, and no one in Atlanta cares about Georgia Tech. They just don't, and that is just the truth. I'm not saying it in spite. That's where we're at. And so the question remains, can Kirby and company over the next 10 to 15 years Tulane Georgia Tech? Can they do that to them? And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. It is a book that you're going to want to have to celebrate Georgia's 2021 national championship. Hardcover, third running of print. Don't get on the fourth. And let me tell you, I have fewer than 100 books left on this third, so it's time to order now. Thanks for visiting. We'll see you on the website.